Hi everyone, it's Dennis Wood here from Cinevate, and today in our episode of our Video University we'd like to talk about the DSC Labs Ambi 2 rear illuminated chart system. Quite a mouthful, but it's a wonderful tool. We've invested in it for purposes of research and development that are related to our 35mm adapter system. So this is pretty much, at least I think, one of the best tools in the industry for rear illuminating a chart. And then the DSC Labs folks have come up with some very innovative products in terms of OSGs, or optical signal generators, for use with this system. So we're going to show you today how to set the thing up, because I'll admit that when we got the unit I was a little bit confused on how certain things should go. And so we're going to show you how we put it together, and we're going to show you how to set the light levels so they're nice and even across the rear projection screen, and then we're going to show you some of the products. Your first job is going to be to put the 1000-watt flood. The system comes with a 1000-watt floodlight and with some barn doors, and you have to mount it to the stand, and where you put it on the stand is critical. If you put it in the wrong place, you probably melt something. So you probably want to pay attention to this part if you miss everything else in terms of how to get where to put the light and how to position it properly. So I've got everything kind of set up here, and we're just going to put it together as if we had it. Now, we did cheat a bit, so we'll move down here. We did cheat a bit, and we put the clamp on already. And DSC Labs sends along a custom clamp made in Canada, Yahoo, which has a stud firing out the top, and it just clamps on. You'll notice it's actually fairly low, and you'll notice it's actually between the spreaders on the stand. You want it low. If you were to put it up here and put your light box right above it, there's a good probability you're going to melt something, and that's an expensive thing to do. The system is really high quality, but it's not inexpensive, so melting it would not be cool. So what I'm going to do is grab the flood. Now, we've already fitted the stand to it, and you'll notice I've actually got this thing at 90 degrees to the what you would think would be the typical mounting point. So it's pretty straightforward. It just slides onto the stud, and again, this clamps on in two pieces, and you just tighten that guy up, or girl, person, and you've got your flood mounted. Now, it has barn doors here, and they're really important. Aligning these barn doors is going to determine or help you to tune your light levels on the rear projection screen, which we're about to mount. So I'm going to grab that unit, we're going to put it on, and I'm going to show you a few details about it. We've got it more or less assembled, and we're going to kind of fire into the back here so you can see there's a mirror back here, and that mirror is basically going to reflect light onto the panel. So what I'm going to do is show you the front of it, and it would be a good idea to have two people helping you with this. But it's just going to mount onto the stud, and you'll get an idea when we turn it on of how it works. So it just slides on, and we'll just wiggle that thing so it goes down nice and gently. It is it's actually a really snug fit. So now, once you get it on, you can rotate it right or left. You want to have it lined up. There's a flood firing up, and you want to have it as square to the flood as possible. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to eyeball that. You're definitely going to be checking a little more carefully when you set up the tool. And just snug it up. And at this point, what I have is the unit mounted up, and I'm going to turn it on so you can actually see how this works. All right, so I've got the unit on. And I mean, if you miss breakfast and you got some back bacon in the place, I mean, why not throw it on and fry it up now? Because that is hot. But and that's why we need to have it down there, not up here, because this mirror back here is not glass. And the diffusion medium at the back obviously is composite polymer, which means it will melt. So you definitely want the light down there, and you can tune using the mirror and the alignment of this tool, or the head rotation, and you can also, of course, adjust the height because this thing's on a light stand. So to get the light even, and what we're going to show you now is how we tested to determine if the light levels were even. Now, there are some people who would suggest, well, why not just set the zebras on your camera and use those? But they are not anywhere near as accurate as you need to be. The reason you want these light levels really even is because if you're taking, or if you're setting the white shading on that camera, which is exactly how I did it on this, getting a really perfectly evenly lit surface is not such an easy thing to do. If you're lighting externally, then you're going to do a lot of light positioning, and chances are you're never going to get it exactly perfect. The rear illuminated system has a diffusion medium. It has some elements back there that make the light very neutral. So really, it's a wonderful tool for just in terms of getting an evenly lit surface. So what we did is we used a Sekonic light meter, and this is the L358. It really doesn't matter what you have as long as it measures some sort of light level. It is important that the unit has some degree of accuracy. So this particular unit measures to an accuracy of 1/10 of a stop, and I was speaking with the DSC Labs folks, and they seemed to felt that was accurate enough. So the head on this is not the ambient head, it's basically the reflected piece. So what I'm doing is, in order to eliminate some error from this, we're just putting this up right against that screen so that we don't get light leakage, and I'm testing the level. So what I'm going to do is just check this, and I'm going to take a reading, and I've got 12.7. And you notice I'm going to take a reading in all four corners here because I want to make sure it's even. So there's 12.7. Now this was set up, but of course we just took it apart. So if it reads 12.7 at all four corners, that's a really good thing because it takes about 15 minutes or so of tweaking to get this, but I'll just line that up. Lo and behold, 12.7. So that's the good news, is I don't have to recalibrate this after our little demonstration. That's about as good as we've seen in a while, and 12.7. So we've got this thing pretty much almost perfect. Now, in this case, I already had the unit set up. We had the height. I didn't mess with the barn doors. You can certainly adjust the barn doors to increase the light levels at the top or the bottom of the unit. You can also adjust the rotation slightly, which will change your values. So typically what you'll see is much hotter light levels at the top and the bottom of the screen. The way to deal with that is to play around with the barn doors and adjust the mirror angle. And I'm just going to rotate the angle, the unit around, so you can see how we adjust that mirror angle. So we'll just set this down. The good news, I haven't knocked anything over in our version of this thing. So here we have the mirror at the back of the unit, and the mirror is actually sitting under this, feels like velvet. If I loosen these two little studs off, you can see I can actually adjust the angle. I can move the mirror out, and I can move it in. And that will, in turn, if you're seeing hotter or lower levels at the top or bottom of the screen, allow you to adjust that. So that's a great little feature of this instrument. And I'm just going to set it more or less where I had it set. It's not critical, but definitely if you're having a problem, adjust it, because that's what got it fixed for us. I was always seeing about a 1/10 of a stop difference, and that alone fixed it. So it was just adjusting the mirror angle. All right, so we'll just clip this little shield back on. Now we do have quite a bit of lighting. Normally, if we were using this Ambi system, we would turn all the lights off because we do see a little bit of glare from existing lights. That's what's great about the system, is you just set up your camera, turn the lights in the room off, flip this thing on, and you're done. You don't have to light anything. So very, very convenient to use for quick camera setups. Now the optical signal generator will produce a very definite pattern on a vector scope, and it will also show, these steps will show a very definite pattern on a waveform monitor. So that's why DSC Labs calls these OSGs, or optical signal generators, because you can use a Combi like this, and they're extremely color accurate. I know, having spent an afternoon at DSC Labs, I know certainly David Corley and the staff there take this very, very seriously. So a white is a white, a yellow is a yellow, and the colors are quite accurate, to the point where they will generate a pattern on the vector scope that will allow you to basically color tune the camera for, I guess you could call it, accurate color reproduction. All right, so we've had a look at the Ambi 2. We've talked about why I think it's a great tool. It's not an inexpensive device, and the charts, sorry, I did it again. The OSGs are not inexpensive either, but you know what, when you see one, and having spent an afternoon with the folks over at DSC Labs, I can tell you that a lot goes into these, and really from the value perspective, I think it's actually, I think they're, in the industry, they're probably the best value out there. So we're pretty happy with the equipment. So we showed you how to set it up. We showed you one of the charts, and that pretty much covers the Ambi 2 system in this session of the Video University. We invite you back, of course, to Cinevate.com, and we'll certainly be hosting many more sessions like this, and this tool will be used in many of them in terms of lens testing, testing for chromatic aberration, and a few other things that we have up our sleeves. So thanks so much for tuning in to this session, and we hope to see you again at Cinevate.com.